Adjustment. Adjustment's an interesting one because this is the one that most people have a lot of awareness of where they're at. And adjustment levels are not usually a surprise to most people. So adjustment is about the threshold to stress, essentially. So everyone has a level of stress that they can cope with. Some people are very, very reactive to stress. A lot of things can set them off. They've got a lot of different triggers. They've got a lot of things that are difficult to them. And so adjustment is not just about how worried you are about things, but it's also about how much stress you can take, how much you interpret as threatening, how much you worry about, or what it'll take to make you worry. And so people with very high adjustment, there's very few triggers. There's very few things that will make people worried, that'll make people physically nervous, that make people concerned. The lower the level of adjustment, the more prone people are to stress. And the best way to think about adjustment, it's like a dam. It's like a barrier against all of the things that could possibly stress someone out, worry someone. Everyone has a different level. And there's not necessarily any right level, because it depends on the person and what stresses you out and what your triggers are and what your experiences are. And people with low adjustment are the people who tend to worry about everything. They worry about what they just said to their colleague. They're worried if something is misinterpreted, if something's taken in the wrong way, if they haven't said the right thing. They're worried about their performance. Even if they've done a good job, they still worry about the things that could have gone wrong. And they have a tendency to think about it more and more and more. So their default position is stress. Even if they've done the best job they've ever done, they worry that they could have done better. Even if they know they've done a good job, they worry that someone could take it in the wrong way. So they say, okay, have I presented this in the wrong way? Did I say the right thing to them? Did I tell them that, oh, I should have done this, but they should have done this, but the page margins were a bit different, but I'll fix that later, blah, blah, blah. Especially at lower levels, it's an automatic stressful reaction to any situation. And it could be social situations, it could be career pressures, it could be whatever. So people with very high adjustment tend not to get worried about things so much. It's not that they don't think about them, it's that they don't feel that emotional, visceral, kind of stomach-wrenching reaction to something, even if it doesn't go wrong, what could go wrong. So people with the absolute lowest levels of adjustment probably worry about almost everything all of the time. And if they have nothing to worry about, they'll find something to worry about. There are times where that is useful. Because the thing about stress is it focuses your attention on something. It's not always bad to think about what could go wrong, or what could happen, or if something goes wrong, what would I do? How would I cope with it? How would I react to it? That's fine. But it's when it's crippling, debilitating, difficult, when that level of stress makes it impossible to do anything, that adjustment is a barrier. And it also depends on the job demand. So one of the reasons we say you need to have higher adjustment to be a leader is because you are going to be the receptacle of stress. You have to take on that stress, that difficulty, whatever goes wrong. If a customer is really angry with the person they're talking to, they say, can I talk to the manager? And so that's the issue for adjustment, particularly in leadership, is you have to be able to not only manage all of the stress of your own position, all of the realities, the difficulties, the challenges that come with a leadership position, but at the end, you're the point of call for other people. You're where other people are going to end up dumping their stress in one way or another. If something is going on in the company, you have to be the one who can manage that stress, who can control it, and not spread it around to other people. And one of the challenges for people with lower adjustment and their colleagues is that stress is not just an emotional reaction, because stress is such a powerful psychological response. People who are stressed, especially people who are the most stressed, show it in all sorts of ways they might not even be able to control. So some people have tics or gestures or things. They snap their hands. This is one of the most physical signs of stress, is people get hunched over, and you can see people at their desk getting more and more hunched. The shoulders turn into earmuffs, and the stress just kind of overcomes people's bodies. And that affects other people. Because you worry, why is this person so stressed? What's going on? What's wrong? And other people, especially those with lower adjustment, worry about the people who are worrying. So they worry, have I done something? Have I said something wrong? Have I not said something? Have I missed something? What's going on with that? I don't know if I should ask them. I don't want to cause any offense. And stress is contagious, especially when it's visible. So a high-strung, tense, stressed out office or group or team quickly spreads it amongst themselves, reinforces it amongst themselves, and builds it up. So you need people who are both resilient to stress who don't feel the stress so much, and people who can diffuse it or take it off. And that is one of the roles of a leader at any level. Even a team leader, even a frontline manager, is to take the unnecessary stress or anxiety away from someone who shouldn't be feeling it, who there's no reason to worry about a problem. And to be able to just say, it's fine, I'll manage it, I'll sort it out, this is not your fault, you did everything you could, I'm really happy with what you're doing. And if that is honest, it's true, then the manager, who probably should have a higher threshold for stress, can take that away. And that's one of the important characteristics of a manager or a leader, is they're able to take that on. They are the port of call, the responsibility lies with them, and if something is going wrong, then that's where the accountability lies. And, as I said before, stress is not always a bad thing if it focuses your attention. We find really often entrepreneurs, especially successful entrepreneurs, tend to have much lower adjustment. If they're doing what they're good at, they know their business, they know their industry, they're competent, capable, conscientious, then sometimes that stress focuses them. Because if it's a constant worry that is bolstered by conscientiousness, then it's not just worrying about problems, but it's solving them. And it's about being distracted by something that you need to be distracted by. It's about worrying about something that is useful to worry about. Even people with the highest levels of adjustment can get stressed, can get worried, can get overwhelmed, but it's about knowing what that level is. It's about realizing what strategies, what coping mechanisms you can use to deal with that, which are the healthy ones, which are the not, and what level of stress you can manage in your career, or if you're looking for someone, what level of stress someone else can manage. So again, not necessarily good and bad levels, but if you're looking for a leader, you need someone, you want someone who can cope with that stress, who has a higher level of adjustment.